here it is. Before I get into this one, boy, I gotta put that disclaimer out. And the disclaimer is this: everything in this video is a lie. Don't believe a word of it. Alright, let's go. This is the truth behind the beef with Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, or Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, whatever you want to call it today. All you Scottie Pippen fan lovers, I'll never forget, I still had a newspaper from May 28, 2011. Just jealous. The whole city of Chicago turned against Scottie Pippen when he put out the message when he was on ESPN, Mike and Mike show, saying Michael Jordan is probably the greatest scorer to play the game. But as far as LeBron James, he might be the greatest player to ever play the game when it's all said and done. Now, his remarks made such a roar in the whole community that after saying that, Scottie tried to come and clear it up. Every NBA generation has a new set of stars, and LeBron James there is the best all-around player in the game. Don't get me wrong, MJ is the greatest, but LeBron could be, by all means, get to his level someday. And for all of you that don't know, I played the game. You keep watching and cheering. So he's trying to tell you that Michael was just one of the greatest scorers. Then he tried to clean it up at the end and say, oh no, Michael is the greatest, but LeBron could be when it's all said and done. But that still didn't stop Chicago from attacking Scottie Pippen. So now, here it is all of a sudden, I guess people's memories are bad. Now here comes all this love for Scottie Pippen. So, I don't buy it. But it just, I had to bring the paper out so I could remind you guys exactly who y'all was. You know, just, that was what, 4 or 5 years ago? Y'all memory slipped that bad? And Scottie Pippen said the same thing I said about Michael Jordan. But what prompted him to say that? Then every writer in Chicago all of a sudden decided to write about how jealous Scottie Pippen is of Michael Jordan. Wow. But what's missing in all these stories is what they were delusional to, is Michael Jordan's competitiveness against Scottie Pippen. Michael was cool with the situation of being friends with Scottie as long as it's beneficial to Michael. When Scottie Pippen first came on the team, Michael barely spoke to him. Spoke to him very sparingly, and when they would hit the court, you know, he was just like, I don't know, this guy ain't working hard enough. And this guy can't dribble a basketball. He keep losing the ball. So Scottie Pippen role minutes was he'll come in the bench in the fourth quarter. But the person he hung out with was Horace Grant. They were close. So Horace and Scottie was like, that was it. They were running buddies. Because they couldn't go in the circle where Mike was going. When Mike go hang out or go kick it with the people he hung out with Dave Durison and Richard Dent. You know, those was the guys he rode with. And he wasn't them, you know, Scottie wasn't a big boy yet. So as Scottie start to improve and get better, and then they start winning championships, that's when, like after the 91 season, and then they were going into the 92 playoffs, Scottie Pippen popularity is up there now. He just did the Dream Team. And Michael would always challenge Scottie in the practice and get on him. And Scottie was holding his own. Like, man, talking back now. But Scottie didn't used to talk back. Scottie got women waiting on him now, and then there's the rumored jealousy of Scottie Pippen being like more endowed than Michael Jordan, all that craziness. So Jordan was jealous over that when he tried to steal Madonna from Scottie. It was all kind of craziness like that going on. So what happened is, and this is what really caused like a rift, Mike was salty because Mike had a situation where he had it set up for him where, oh gosh, I shouldn't be saying this, but the Lexus Exchange in Highland Park used to go and be a courier service for celebrities. It wasn't just a Lexus dealership, it's also a courier service when you can't be seen with certain people. So Michael Jordan had Veronica Webb, one of his things, pieces coming into town. And when she comes into town, Michael can't get there right away. So now Scottie got all these chicks that he's hanging with, and he's trying to invite Scottie to be in the circle. Is Richard Dent, you got Russell Simmons from Def Jam is there. I don't know why he was there, but Russell Simmons, Richard Dent, Dave Dorison, Walter Payton, everybody's hanging out at 34's, which was Walter Payton's spot. So they leave 34's and they go out to the Big Kahuna out in Algonquin, which is Walter Payton's other spot he got. That's in the northwest suburbs. Scottie Pippen shows up with a girl and brings a girl there who's unauthorized. What Michael Jordan is like, why did you bring this girl here? She's the type of girl that might run in the press and might run her mouth about seeing me here. We told you to just show up, Scottie. We ain't say bring nobody here. This is a different type of affair. He's trying to tell him, like, we gotta vet that girl. We don't just take girls up here. This girl here gonna keep her mouth shut. That's what Mike like trying to get on Scottie about, and Scottie don't like to be chastised in front of no woman. So Scottie trying to show, look, I'm this, I'm that, I'm blah 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 blah. So him and Mike had it out, and Mike was like, yeah, don't worry, I'm gonna kick his ass tomorrow when we get into practice. So Mike out, they shooting dice to like 3-something in the morning. Playing poker, smoking stogies. He got his chick in town. This was Mike dude. This is what he does. And it's funny, it was great how he kept it all to himself. Like Mike's whole thing was keeping that image of like Mike, the Gatorade image, because there was no social media back then. It was easy to do that. Everybody thought Mike was, hey, like Mike, if I could be like Mike. Mike B, get the hell away from me. When the camera stopped rolling. You got a light? Look this stogie up. Mike didn't want to hear nothing. He was not the Michael Jordan you wanted him to be. But he was for that moment in time when it was time to shoot the commercial. But anyway, so they started bickering and fighting with one another. And then Scottie was hurt for most of the part of the 93 season. And the Bulls was losing a lot of games because Scottie wasn't playing. And Scottie was like, oh, I thought you could do everything. Mister, I could do everything. Y'all don't need me. You was winning games before Scottie Pippen, remember? So they had a big disagreement over one of the girls because Scottie brought up the Madonna situation. Like, yeah, Madonna told me you tried to get what up. And this is when she was messing with Scottie. And she had told him that Michael was trying to get with her. And she was like, nah, that's all right. I'm with Scottie. So Michael was always competing with Scottie with everything. They hit one-on-one battles, three-point shootouts, competitive to the teeth as far as racing home until Bobby Fields died in a car accident in Cleveland. I'll never forget that. And then the NBA stopped all that stuff because players used to do that all the time when they leave practice, race home in their cars and stuff. And Bobby Fields died doing that, getting in the car accident. So the whole league came crashing down on them. So Jordan and Scottie couldn't do that no more. And what happened was, what was that? I think this was when Mike was getting ready to retire. Him and Scottie got back. They were cool, you know. They always do like big brother, little brother fights. But when they got back together and started hanging again, and more models started coming around, and Scottie started seeing what Michael was talking about. Scottie started dealing with the upper echelon of broads. He was interfering with Mike's pot. Mike's like, okay, now you got yours. Why don't you go over there, man? I'm busy over here. So that when they had a spat, I forgot at what restaurant, when Scottie was saying something that he shouldn't have said, and Mike didn't like it. So Mike took him to the bathroom, and then they had a big argument because Mike don't like too many people knowing stuff, especially broads. You know, and so he tried to tell Scottie, like, look, don't tell these women too much of anything. They don't care. They're not here for that. We talk about now, like everything that's going on now. We don't be talking about stuff we did in the past or this and that, because the women go running their mouth. So, you know, we try to, even though we vet them, we keep everything simple. Just talk about right now. They already don't care. They going to do what we want them to do, Scottie. So Scottie had to be schooled to the game on how it works. So Oakley is there, and Charles Oakley and Barkley was there having a conversation. They was talking about this. This is at the golf house. I forgot the name of that damn place now. Man, that golf club. It's right on. Man, it's in Des Plaines too. But anyway, they get into an argument over, you know, just over some regular stuff, and they making fun of Scottie, and Scottie was this and that, and Scottie was this. So Scottie was the one that always got teased. So Scottie was like, yeah, but I can get all y'all women. And that's when Mike, you know, was right away, oh, now look at Scottie. He run it off at the mouth a year, you know. Then he a young buck, all in the game, blah, blah, blah. So all of this is done. Mike's father dies. And this was like the very next week after they was hanging out. Mike's father passed away. Scottie and them, everybody sent their condolences to Mike. Mike wasn't coming back. So while Mike's gone, the team is really Scottie's now. This is what Scottie been waiting on. The team is his. He's the leader. So why they doing this? Scottie's the man in the city. In 94, the Bulls are running. They winning 50-something games without Michael Jordan. And then it's like Scottie's team now. They lose in the second round of the playoffs because of a bad call in Game 7 against the Knicks. And Scottie's got a tournament that's coming up. And he's got a celebrity basketball tournament. And he called Michael Jordan because he wanted Michael Jordan to play. Now, Michael's been trying out for baseball and doing all this other stuff. You know, he ain't really been, you know, dealing with basketball at all. He really ain't been on the court. Scottie called him because this was his chance to get a passing of the torch from Michael. And that's all he wanted. The phone call wasn't about no brotherly love and why don't you give a game, you know, like get a city one more game before you go, you know, since you're retiring. This was, let me embarrass Michael Jordan, who ain't played in a year, on the court in front of the whole Chicago city so they can see me and be like, yes, it's Scottie team now. That's what he wanted. And he kept pressuring Mike. Come on, Mike, man. Because I got to get this list in, man. And Mike's like, nah, man, I ain't been playing, man. I don't want to go out there and embarrass myself, man. I'm done. And while he's doing that, Scottie like, man, all right. And I just go ahead and tell him, just do the list without you. So the whole time he's doing this, Michael's practicing. Michael's practicing in his house. He got a basketball court in the house. Michael playing every day in the house. In his room. In his basketball court that he got in his crib. He playing hard. Boom, he got guys coming in his house playing with him. And he don't want them to say nothing to Scottie about what he's doing. But Mike is playing hard every day. Getting in shape. So, while Mike is playing his heart out, getting in shape, Scottie was like, Scottie, yeah, I'm going to play. So Mike's like, oh man, look like Mike going to play after all. So Scottie's all excited, and then like the week before it was time, Mike called him the day before, I think 2 days before, and said, I'm out. I'm not playing. I thought I was going to play, but nah. So he was like, man, I thought Mike was going to play, but I guess he's not going to play. So, I thought he wanted to get his city. So Scottie went on TV and made the statement. Michael wasn't playing. So everybody didn't know Michael Jordan was playing until he actually did it that day. He called Scottie and said, Scottie, I'm going to play. And what Michael did is he guarded Scottie Pippen the entire game. And they went at it. And what Scottie Pippen learned was he ain't Michael Jordan. Now, I don't want to put the video up of that game. You'll see highlights of it. It's on YouTube from that game because they didn't want any cameras there at all. They had private cameras there. The people that they had that was doing the event, they had cameras, but no news. Nobody else was there to cover it. But the people that was there were blown away. And it was the last game played in Chicago Stadium, where they won the first 3 championships at. And before they tore it down and then they built the United Center. So, when that happened, the passing of the torch didn't work. And Scottie was, once again, the Robin, and Jordan was Batman. And Jordan came and showed him why he's Batman. And that Scottie would always be Robin, no matter if Mike ain't there or not, you Robin. So the next season starts, and it's not going well. It's not going well at all. So Scottie's leadership is being questioned. Phil is drawing up more plays for Tony Kukoc. And Scottie gets mad and won't go on the court for the final shot because he wanted the final shot of the game. Bill Cartwright had to go down there and talk to him like, man, what's wrong with you? Like, you're a captain. You can't be acting like this, man. I ain't going on the court. Man, he ain't going to let me shoot this last shot. So Phil was like, okay, fine. You don't want to go on the court, that's fine. They drew up the play. and the play was going to two Kukos. It wasn't going to Scottie. So it went to Tony Kukoc. Kukoc hit the game-winning shot and won the game. So the Bulls won. So Phil showed him, like, this is why I had Tony Kukoc shooting the last shot of the game. But Tony, like, you'd have never did that to Michael. And Phil had to tell him, Scottie, you're not Michael. So that led to the biggest on the court feud there was. So Phil had to tell the ownership about it, like, I can't control this dude. And in the meantime, Mike is doing his baseball thing, and it ain't really working out. He talking about a strike, and Mike really want to come out on anyway. So he been at home watching some of the games and talking with Scottie. So Mike come in there, he practiced one day with Scottie and BJ. Then the San Antonio game happened. This when Scottie was trying to leave. He was throwing chairs on the court, everything. Mad at the referees. And the people and the fans was all booing Scottie. And less than a year later, they wanted Scottie out. The Bulls wanted him out. And the city wanted him out. Like, get rid of Pippen. He sucks. Just a year ago, he was everybody's hero. The next year, as he sucked, get rid of him. And the ownership, Jerry Crawford, they was finna trade Scottie Pippen. Michael Jordan decided he wanted to come back. That's why Pippen started lobbying for Mike to come back. Like, come on back, Mike. Come on back. Because he needed somebody there. He can't handle the pressure of being a number one. Michael was brought in to save the Bulls. And when Michael came back, Scottie's plan was for Michael to come back, see how difficult it was, and fail. Scottie didn't want Mike to come back and be dominant. He wanted him to come back and fail. And when Jordan came back, though he had some flashes of what Mike used to be in that mid-season, this was Jordan's idea of skipping the whole regular season, which became boring to him. He just wanted to get to the thrill of the playoffs. And so this way he didn't have to go through a whole tedious season and just go straight to the playoffs. But what he didn't expect was how his body was going to respond. By playing baseball and training to play baseball, his legs weren't there anymore. He had baseball legs. And when he came back to basketball, there was no way he could compete at the higher level the way he used to. His body, he wasn't used to it. You know, when you lose certain things, you make adjustments to the things that you lost. But when you don't know you've lost it, that's when you were seeing Michael Jordan not look like Michael Jordan. And when they got beat by Horace Grant and the Orlando Magic, and they left Horace up in the air, and Horace is throwing his fist in Chicago Stadium, you know, Michael was embarrassed. And this is where him and Scottie fell out. Because Scottie did an interview after it was over, and he was almost smiling. It was like, well, you know, 45 just, well, he wasn't the same. 45 ain't like 23. You know, just to say, see, y'all wanted Michael back. Michael came back, and he couldn't do it either. So he was a bit happy about that underneath. So Mike and Scottie kind of they didn't speak the entire summer. Mike had to go film the movie that everybody seemed to like, the one with the Monstars and all that. So the Bugs Bunny movie. So when he went to film that movie, Michael Jordan had them build a basketball court so he could train all summer. And he had Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing, all the NBA players come out there. Some of his friends that was out there that played in college. People were sent home if they weren't playing hard enough. Michael Jordan was pushing himself all summer, getting ready for the NBA season because he was pissed. So when Michael Jordan came back, he was going to come back as Michael Jordan. And this was probably the best season Michael Jordan ever had. Because when the Bulls won that 70-something games, that was probably the best season Michael Jordan has probably ever had, because he realized he didn't have to dominate a game every night or kill himself to try to get the win. It came through the transition of the game. He figured it out. And he was an entirely different player. But his relationship with Scottie, once they came back, it was different. Then they became cool again as the season was going on and they was winning with Dennis Rodman. Rodman became the figure of the team. But at this point, winning bridges a lot of gaps. They were winning games easily with Dennis Rodman heading the defense. And of course Scottie and Mike is back cool, but they had a rule. And the rule was Michael Jordan showered before everybody else. Due to his insecurities with Scottie Pippen. To avoid all of that, Mike would just shower before anybody else. No one could shower before Mike. And they would tell the press, oh, it's all because, the press all don't want to interview Michael, so we want Michael to get dressed first. So, after Michael showered, then everybody else could go in and shower. Could not go in and shower with Michael anymore. So, after this craziness was going on, Mike was still saying his hands was bigger than Scottie's, all kind of craziness, just competitiveness. So, Scottie's got a whole line of chicks now, like Scottie's the man in the town. So Mike's like, look, I've been doing my thing out in Florida and everywhere else. Like, Mike came in, hoard on some more Scottie's women. But Mike had his whole setup. Mike had a Cook County sheriff. Mike had everything set up for him. So he didn't need Scottie to really, give him no women, and he's Michael Jordan. But he wanted to take what Scottie had, and he actually threw shade on Scottie to get this golf chick. She's real popular in the golf world. Skinny, blonde with big boobs. That's all I can tell you. Now, skinny blonde with big boobs was wooed by the fact that Michael Jordan wanted her to come to the hotel on a road trip. But like Mike said, he had these women vetted before he even get involved with them. Same thing he tried to tell Tiger Woods, but Tiger wouldn't listen. He would just take whatever the agency sent him over, and then not only that, he would just get any girl that was in the porn industry. Just call his buddies and they'll bring him on by. And Michael was like, Tiger's gonna get caught. And he was telling Charles this because, Charles is in the same boat. So, the seasons go on, they're winning championships, they kicking it, they buddy. They chicks going in, chicks going by. And every time Scottie get hurt, it's because he been out partying all night. And then he was taking, like at this time, sports enhancing drugs and all that stuff was not as popularized as it is now. So all of these guys used to come by the facilities and try to push them off on people. Like, they're totally legal. There's nothing wrong with them. And you should try this. So Scottie was like, man, you know what? It's free. I'm going to try it. So Scottie started trying these supplements to keep his body refreshed. Not steroids, people. I'm not saying Scottie Pippen's on steroids, but this is supposed to improve his play, refresh his body, and he was feeling great, you know. And all of a sudden, like towards the end of the season, Scottie's body started to take on too much stress, and then in his lower back, he started to spaz a lot. Then he started taking Gin Sauna, and Gin Sauna was his product. Yo, whenever I got lower back pains, I just take my Gin Sauna. And Gin Sauna was the reason. Now, Mike didn't take none of this stuff. Mike is, I don't need that. Mike didn't need it. But Scottie wanted to take it because he wanted to improve his game and keep his athleticism and stay sharp and fit. And this was like the shortcut way, but what it did was damage his back, the small of his back somehow. And everyone thought Scottie was just partying a lot, but Scottie was really in pain in his lower back. And he had lower back problems for the remainder of his career. It was not improving. And nobody really blamed the supplements, and Michael just thought Scottie is not doing his part. So it was starting a rift within the union again. So when Michael was like, look, that's it. Like after this season, he told Scottie, everybody that last season, like, this is it. I'm out of here. I'm done. They ain't gonna keep Phil, which they obviously not. Then I'm leaving. He was like, I already talked to Phil, so this is it. And Michael still wanted to play basketball. He just wanted the Bulls to keep Phil Jackson, keep Scottie, keep the whole team the way it was, and don't split it up. And he would have continued to play because Michael still wanted to play basketball. He just didn't want it to be with a new coach and he didn't want to go through that process. So when ownership was like, well, we're going to go in this direction, he was like, fine, forget it. I'm out. So Scottie started going away and Michael started doing his own thing. And Scottie got a big contract with the Houston Rockets. So he called Michael, yeah, man, I got this Houston. He's like, oh, that's a good deal for you. You know, Scottie finally getting the money now. So he's out in Houston, you know, doing his thing, clubbing. He was the big thing on campus. And Scottie's out there with Barkley. And after about 3-4 weeks into the season, you know, Charles is trying to say, you know, we trying to welcome Scottie on in, but, you know, it's like what, you know, he calling Mike, like, how do I deal with this dude? This dude's all over the place. Like, mentally. Like, is there something going on with him? Like, some games he ain't even engaged. We like Scottie. We're going to need you to step it up. You know, put some pressure on him offensively, and he won't shoot the ball. And Mike is like, man, you know, that's Scottie, man. You just got to, you know, he's particular. You got to get to know him. And Charles like, look, I'm trying to win a championship. I ain't got all season to get to know him. we gonna miss the playoffs dealing with him. So they patch everything up and to the playoffs. Because Charles Barkley is like, look, man, we spent 30-something. He act like he owns the team. Like, look, man, we didn't spend $30-something million to get you over here. Now, what's going on? So, at the end of the season, everything blew up. Scottie Pippen goes out and do this interview called Charles Barkley fat, slow, lazy. And I should have listened to Michael. Michael told me Charles is lazy and this and that. And Mike like, whoa, man, like, that's my friend. Like, What would make you feel comfortable enough to go on the air and bring my name up in your beef with Charles Barkley? So, man, Charles called Michael like, you told Scottie that about me? He's like, hell no, I ain't say that to you about no Scottie. And he talked to Scottie like, man, Scottie, don't ever talk about what I talk to you up in private on the air. Man, Michael cussed Scottie out. So Scottie was, oh, man, I done messed up. I'm sorry, man. I was just, just mad. And he's like, I don't care how mad you get. Don't you ever bring my name up in a situation like that again. So Mike had rules. Scottie kept breaking them. And then Scottie fell into a financial situation where he was losing stuff and he thought he could lean on Michael for like some type of loan or an advance, and he couldn't get in contact with Michael. And he had a little job working with the Miami Heat or whatever. So, he was like, okay, cool. I'm going to get my ends up because, Scottie went through marriages, divorces, and the whole nine. So, with that being said, let me go ahead and get it. That being said, that all of a sudden you get an article like LeBron James is going to be the best player in the world. These things start to pop up. So that was pretty much the gist of it, because after that, they really, Scottie and Michael went their separate ways. Like they didn't hang out no more once the Bulls years was over. So the little inner jealousy there is that Scottie want to always be mentioned when they talk about Michael, and Michael always look out for Scottie. They really cool. It's just a competitive beef, like little brother, big brother. That's all it was. It's nothing really personal. Like they hate each other and stuff like that. The city created that once he made that statement about LeBron James. Then the whole media world, all the writers in Chicago decided to turn against Scottie Pippen. So other than that, Scottie actually, I know what he was trying to say. But the thing is I said the same thing as Scottie Pippen. I said Michael Jordan's probably the best scorer the game has ever seen. But it's all around basketball. It's 5-on-5. When you doing your thing, the other guys, what are they doing? They just standing around. He didn't make those guys better until later in his career. He knew how to perform and get them to do the things he needed to do. Then when it's time to be Michael Jordan, he could be Michael Jordan. But he didn't have to kill himself to get the same numbers he was getting when he was younger. He had to figure that out to where the whole game became easy. It was like Neo in the Matrix. You started to see all the numbers and you're like, well, okay, I could do it like this. So, that's it. I'm gone.